Hello and welcome back to another command block tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed that little showcase of what we're going to be making today and are excited to be making it in your world yourself to be able to play around with. So yeah, a couple of things before we get started. Number one, I did all these commands on a live stream, so feel free to check out the live stream if you want to see kind of the process of how this was made. Also, if you want to be part of those live streams and actually have an influence on the stuff I make, I suggest subscribing and having notifications on, just because I don't schedule my live streams, so you won't know that I'm doing them. Yeah, I'm a great YouTuber. Two other things. Number one is QH0L, who actually helped me figure out, not helped me figure out, he figured out on his own and gave me the animations that we're using for this project, which obviously you guys saw is kind of like this flying arms out kind of animation thing. And the other thing is for Fantasy, who also joined my live stream and helped me figure out some of the other commands. He does have a YouTube channel, which I highly recommend you guys checking out, and that's going to be in the description. But without further ado, let's kind of explain what's going on, and then I'm going to show you guys the actual commands. So what we're doing, what's kind of happening here is we have a lot of stuff is going into this flight system. If you guys watched my airbending video, it is, in terms of the flight, it's actually a very similar system for flight as what happened in that video. It's going to be similar here, but we're kind of improving on it, on top of making some extra animations to make it look cooler. So essentially what's happening is that anytime you hold a banner, doesn't matter what color, it can be any banner, but as long as you're holding it, you're going to start flying in whatever direction you look at. Your player is going to be instantly changed into this kind of like flight simulator type thing. You're also going to see on the right side of the screen that my speed is increasing over time. So on top of increasing my speed, it's also going to allow me to destroy stuff as I build up speed. Now, it's kind of like a give and take, because I lose speed when I'm traveling through blocks. So you kind of have to accelerate in order to break through stuff. And yeah, it's really fun, and you do actually go faster the higher your speed is. You max out about 400, but 400 is just kind of extra value. This is the max speed right here that this system is going to be traveling at. Any faster, and you're probably not going to be able to control it. But it's a really fun system. It's actually really easy to control, really smooth and simple, and it works great. I will also mention, you guys may have seen in some of the clips, that it does also kill stuff, and you guys can obviously mess around with that and make it kind of your own weapon. But it actually can do quite a lot of damage, so if I were to summon this guy right here, you guys can imagine has a lot of health, I can actually start flying rounds, build up some speed, because the faster I'm traveling, the more damage I deal. So let's build up some speed, as you can see on the right side of my screen here. And I can do a ton of damage to him, on top of just breaking everything around him, because why not? But yeah, that's the basic system. It is going to allow you to do damage. Yeah, he's one hit away from death because I hit him so hard while flying. But yeah, that's kind of the basic system of what's actually happening. There's also some particle effects, some sound effects, all that stuff going into it. That's kind of more just kind of fun little details. But in terms of what's actually technically functioning is every time I'm holding a banner, I am giving myself a invisible pig with a saddle on it, which is the entire mechanism for how I'm flying. Because what we're doing is we're riding the pig, and then the pig is simply teleporting in whatever direction I'm looking. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, why would I use a pig? Why not just teleport myself instead of having a pig? Well, for whatever reason, every time you teleport in Minecraft, it actually prevents you from looking around. So you would only be able to fly straight for that. I've done that in a previous video for my Superman tutorial a long time ago. This just works a lot better. A little bit more complicated, works much better. And there's a couple things that we're going to actually need to set up before we can even get into what's actually happening. So number one, you are going to need a structure block. What you're going to do is you're going to name it Jets, because I'm just going to temporarily disable this command block, load this in, boom. What we have here is a pig named Jet, and he's going to be invisible, and that's basically what's happening. So what you want to do is you want to take this pig named Jet, okay, let's just pretend he didn't do that. You're going to take this pig named Jet with a saddle on him, you're going to put him on top of the structure block, like I said, pig, name it Jet, put a saddle on it, put it on top of a structure block, save the structure block as Jet, so like this, you see where it says save, name it Jet, hit save right here, And what we're going to do is we're going to save this pig. Before you save it, you want to turn it invisible using the effects command. So type this in chat. So just see in chat bar right here. Go ahead and type this in your chat, and it's going to be perfectly fine. That's going to work for you, and that's going to make the pig invisible. So I'm not going to do it because this pig is rebellious. But yeah, that's essentially what's happening. Sorry, Jet. And what's going to happen is that every time I try to fly, it's going to summon an invisible pig. It's going to use the ride command to make me ride it. Every time I'm done flying, which is I swap off of my banner, it's just going to teleport the pig around, and it's going to get rid of the pig. Simple as that. So now I did disable these commands just to show you the pig, but let's get into the actual commands. First thing that we're going to mention is... I don't know why I have this command here. Goodbye. You don't deserve to live. So the first command that we have here is going to simply be a simple stop riding command. So this is going to be dismounting the player. What we're checking is the player holding a banner in their main hand with a quantity of 0, which means they're not holding it. And if so, if there's an entity named Jet within an 8-block radius, it's just going to stop riding it. Pretty simple, so that dismounts the player. Next up, we're going to teleport the pig named Jet to put in whatever coordinates you have as this command block. So you can look at this command block if you're on PC, hit Control-Alt-X. It's going to save the coordinates. However you want to do it, just put in the coordinates right here for this actual command block, because the next command is just going to kill everything within 2 blocks, which is going to be the pig, it's going to be the item, the job is going to be the XP. Just gets rid of all of it for whenever you're ready to dismount. So next up, we're also going to be stopping the sound mob pig death, because otherwise the pig makes a sound whenever it dies, which is weird. Now we're going to get into how you actually mount it. So it did go a little bit out of order. Apologies for that. What we're doing is we're executing at whoever has the banner in their main hands. That means it's someone who's, flying, has the banner in their main hands. If there's not already a pig named Jet within 8 blocks, it's going to load the Jet structure. So that's going to make it so it doesn't load multiple, but if there is not a pig already there, then it is going to load the pig. Then what we're going to do is execute at whoever's holding the banner. If there is a pig nearby, it's going to start riding the pig. That's all that's happening. It's just going to ride the pig. And that's how we actually get on and off the pig. So now we're going to get a little bit more into the mechanics of what's happening with the pig. So the first 3 commands are actually all exactly the same. So we're just looking at anything named Jet, and we're going to teleport it 0.6 blocks forward, and it's going to copy the rotation of the nearest player. So that just means the pig is going to be moving forward in the same direction that the player is looking. That's what that means. Now, we're only doing 0.6 blocks for a reason that I'm going to show you in a second, because we're actually going to do the exact same command right here. It's exactly the same. The reason we have it in a different command block instead of making the last number a higher number is it's just going to make it a lot smoother and just look better and feel better. That's why. Third command is actually going to be exactly like it. This is going to be the base flight commands, so this is without the actual speed system where you have to build up speed and stuff. That's going to come later in a second. This is just the base flight. Next up, we have 2 repeated commands. So what we're doing here is we're just making sure that the Jet pig is teleported in place, copying the rotation of the player. All this means is that Jet's going to be facing the same direction the player is, which is going to help with some of the animation stuff that you guys are going to see later. So just trust me and have that. We actually have the command repeated twice just to make it function a little bit faster. So that's going to be the base flight system. You actually can have a functioning flight system and just have the commands I've shown you so far. If you don't care about some of the extra fancy stuff, you can simply leave it at that and you're going to be good to go. But if you guys want to have it be a little bit more complicated and a lot fancier, you're going to want to follow the following commands. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to need to create a scoreboard. So that's going to involve typing scoreboard, objectives, add, speed, dummy. Just type this in. Now I've already done it, so it's not going to do anything. But I've already done it, so that's what's going to happen. So now we're going to actually look into what's going to happen with the speed. So the number one thing that we're going to do is that if a player has a banner in their main hands and their speed score is between 0 and 399, so that means it's not going to get over 400, that player is going to gain 1 speed. And this is going to be happening every 0 ticks, so it's going to build up pretty quickly. Next up, the player is no longer holding a banner in their main hand, their speed is going to be set to 0. That instantly resets it as soon as you stop flying. So keep that in mind. Then what we're going to do is if the player has a speed score of 50 or higher, we're going to actually have that same TP command as before. So it's exactly the same. The only difference is this speed 50 ... part. It's the only difference, and that's just, yeah, pretty simple. That just means that if the player is at 50 speed or higher, they're actually going to teleport a little bit faster. Same command here, just checking if the player is at 100 or higher. Same command here, 150 or higher. Same command here, 200 or higher. 250 or higher. And finally, 300 or higher. This means that every 50 speed gained up to speed 300, you're going to be moving a little bit faster. So that way you actually not only are getting more like fighting power for damaging stuff and breaking through blocks, but you're actually going to be moving faster as you speed up. Now, there is one difference you may have noticed between these speed boost commands and the base flight commands. These three end in the word true. These three do not. What that means is that if you have less than 50 speed, I'm going to just demonstrate this by turning off the block destruction. If I have less than 50 speed, I can't go through blocks. But if I have greater than 50 speed, then I actually can go through blocks. So, especially when you have the destructive power going on, that's just going to make it so as you build up speed, you actually become more powerful. That's just part of it. So yeah, this is the destroy blocks command. I have it on a lever, so that way if I don't want to destroy stuff, I can disable it. Alright, let's get into a little bit of kind of the fighting style stuff. So what we're doing here is something similar. Basically, we're executing at the player. If there is an entity that's not named yet, and it's not themselves, so what RM equals 1 means. So basically, if I'm flying around and I get pretty close to an entity, it's going to run the damage command, and it's going to do 20 entity attack damage. This means, once again, as I fly by stuff, it's going to get damaged by me. If you want to increase this damage number, feel free to increase this number right here. This is for a player that's traveling at 50 to 200 speed. I should also mention that if the player runs into an entity, it is actually going to remove some of the speed because obviously you're running into stuff, so it's going to slow you down. Next up, if the player has a speed of 201 or higher, they're going to do, in a bigger radius, 50 damage instead of 20. Once again, feel free to tweak the actual damage amount to whatever you need. Following that, the player is going to lose even more speed just because, you know, you're doing more damage, more of your force is kind of going into the object, so you're going to lose more speed every time you hit an entity with this. That's what's happening right here. Pretty simple stuff, but yeah, that's kind of how we make it so you can damage things, but also kind of balance that out with the speed that's going on, make it a little bit more balanced. Next up, simple HUD commands. All we're doing is HUD at A scores equals speed equals 1, hide horse health. So, you know, as soon as you start flying, it's going to hide part of the HUD, which means that you're not going to see the normal pig hearts that you would see in the corner, just a little bit more immersive. Pretty simple. Okay. Now we're going to get into some of the little bit more complicated stuff. And no, we're not. We're going to get into the play sounds. Animations are here. Okay, so what we're going to do is just, there's a couple of sounds, you guys probably heard them. It's sometimes harder to hear with my volume settings, but you will be able to hear them yourself when you play for yourself. So, number one, when the player reaches a speed of 200, they're going to get a random explosion sound. This is just kind of like a sonic boom type sound for when you reach a high enough speed. That's all that is. Next up, whenever the player starts flying, they're going to get a special riptide sound to make it sound like they're kind of taking off, like a poof. Additionally, for when they're kind of mid-flying, they're going to get another riptide sound, but this one's going to be a lot duller and a lot more like a constant wind. It's going to be if they have at least a speed of 1, that means they're flying at any speed. Then when the player hits a speed of 100, they're going to get an extra sound, so both of these are going to be playing overlapping. Should mention this is on a 3-tick delay. This is on a 2-tick delay. So these two sounds are going to start overlapping at speed 100, and at speed 200, we're going to have another overlapping sound at a 2-tick delay, which is just a slightly different trident sound. This makes it so that as you're actually traveling at faster speeds, it's going to sound like you're traveling faster. So right here, the first sound picks up, and around 200, the next sound will. So as you can see, it even sounds like you're traveling faster the faster you actually are traveling. Alright, now for the fun stuff. Once again, huge shout out to QH0L on my Discord for giving me these play animations. I'm not really going to explain these guys. Like, you're going to have to just copy them exactly how you see them, no typos, or it's not going to work. I might actually drop the play animation commands in the description just to make sure you guys don't have typos. I'm not going to drop all of them because they won't all fit in the description, but I will drop the play animation ones just to make sure you type them exactly how they are on screen. So, what we're doing is whenever the player hits a speed of 1, that means they're starting flying, we're just going to play these play animations right here. I'm not going to explain how they work. They're a little bit too complicated even for me sometimes. Copy them how you see them. So this is the second one. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. And this is the final one. I have a typo in this one. So, those are the basic commands. Now we're going to get into the last 4 commands are actually going to be how you actually cancel the animation, because if you don't have the second 4 commands, you actually get stuck in this pose, which you probably don't want to do. So once again, just copy them how you see them. This is going to be happening when the player hits a speed of 0, and this essentially resets the player's animation so it's back to normal. Okay, once again, check the descriptions, make sure you type those right. If you don't type them right, and if you don't have them in the correct order, it's probably not going to work. So, just be careful. Okay, next thing that we're going to be doing is, if this is actually related to the player destroying blocks, these last set of commands, if that's not something you want, you can actually skip these commands. It is optional, but I think it's quite cool and it's quite fun. You will destroy your world, but that's probably what you want to do if you're this far into the tutorial. Once again, if you just want the animations and stuff, you don't want to destroy stuff, you can actually zone out, not finish the video. But what we're doing is executing at any player that is outside of 30 blocks, and this is important because if you don't do this, you might accidentally destroy your own command blocks. If you have an area of command blocks that is bigger than 30 blocks, make this number bigger or you will destroy command blocks. And that's for all the commands I'm about to show you. Make sure you do this. Final warning, make sure you do the RM equals 30 to not accidentally destroy your own stuff. Okay, all that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to check at the player who has a speed of 50, unless there are blocks around them, which is going to be a 2x2, or I guess what, 4x4 in every direction of the player, is going to be air. The way we're doing that is we're checking unless blocks and then these coordinates around the player, then we have this specific set of coordinates right here. Now, these coordinates won't be the same for you. What you want to do is find an area that is near your command blocks that is all air and copy those coordinates. I don't care how you end up doing that, but like I said, just make sure it's near the command block so it's loaded by your ticking area. Make sure it's all air, and then just copy those coordinates, put them in the command block for all of the following if you want it to work. So that's essentially what's happening there. Essentially, we're going to be doing the exact same commands. So this previous one, once again, we're checking basically, is the player... So what this is doing is making sure that the player is not near air. Because if the player is completely surrounded by air, then it's not going to do the special commands for destroying a block. But if there's a non-air block surrounding the player, then it's going to do these special commands. So that's what's happening, just so you guys know. All that we're going to be doing is just running a particle at the player. This just makes it a little bit fancier as the player is destroying things. Similarly, same deal. If the player's going over 50 blocks, there's stuff within like the area of the player. Run the camera shake commands. Pretty simple. Next up, and this is the one that I do recommend maybe having on a lever, so that way you can decide if you actually want to destroy blocks or not. But what we're going to be doing is, number 1, checking once again 30 block minimum radius. Please have that. We'll destroy your own commands. And if you do, you can leave me a sad comment, but I'm not going to pity you that much because I warned you like 5 times. But it's going to be the same deal. We're checking, does the player not have blocks near them? If that's the case, then we're going to remove force speed. So as you're traveling through blocks, you are going to slow down because that simply makes sense. So you actually have to build up speed if you want to be able to destroy stuff. So next up, if the player has a speed between 50 and 200, it's going to fill everything around it with air and it's going to destroy it. This is going to make it so the blocks actually break like they normally would. I will warn you though, depending on what you're breaking, this might cause a lot of entity items to fall on the ground. So you might want to have an additional command block that just kills items or something like that, or you will lag very quickly. Just going to warn you on that too. And this is going to be the exact same command, except if I have a speed of 200 or higher, it's actually going to go to a bigger area, so I'm going to destroy more blocks if my speed is above 200. But because I'm destroying more blocks, I'm going to lose speed a little bit faster, so I'm going to remove 6 speed. And the final command is if my speed is 201 or higher, then I'm going to fill a larger area with air. So that is it. That is the entire tutorial. Once again, I will have play animation commands in the description. The rest of it won't fit, so it's just going to be play animation commands. So make sure you guys are meticulous in copying this and follow not only the commands, but all the warnings I gave you. This is a more complicated... This is a more complicated tutorial than usual, so I hope you guys enjoy. And honestly, challenge yourself. If you guys have been following me for a while, I do think that a lot of you guys are capable of doing something like this. If not, then yeah, this is a great way to learn. It's just trial and error. And if you need help, join our Discord, because there's a lot of helpful people on there that are going to help you out. All that being said, this video was originally going to be part of my Invincible series. That's why I'm wearing Omni-Man clothing. This is originally going to be like a Viltrumite flying type thing, but I mean, quite frankly, it works for anything. I mean, this could be Superman, this could be Omni-Man, this could be any real form of superhero flying. I think it works quite well. It is a really fun system. I mean, it really, really is. Especially in third person, with the animations and everything, just blowing stuff up is so much fun. It really is genuinely a blast to just destroy stuff with this. You do really feel like Superman or Omni-Man or whoever you're, cosplaying as. It is just a blast. It's also just a really effective form of transport because you actually travel quite fast at maximum speed. And it's also really smooth. It's just a really good system. Shout out to the people who helped me on this system in the live stream. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. This tutorial was pretty complicated. This one definitely took me more effort than usual to devise the system and to make this tutorial. So please give it a like, give it a shout out or a follow. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, this one took a lot of work. So I really hope you guys appreciate it because I really do. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Bye.